companies expected to report earnings this week. Among them are some of the hottest specialty retailers out there. So this is going to be a big week to check in with the retail side. Is the consumer spending any of that $2 trillion that they have sitting on the sidelines? They might be. So let's see who are the 5 hottest retailers you should be watching this week. Let's dive right in. So the first stock out of the gate is Capri Holdings, ticker CPRI. Now you may not know Capri, but you know its brands, Michael Kors, Versace, Jimmy Choo, and this one has been hot because luxury is seeing a rebound, especially over in Asia, including into China, but just basically globally, luxury has been hot. So year to date, these shares are up about 25%. Still struggling to get up to those 2018 highs though, but has made big, progress off of those 2020 lows. The shares are still cheap, trading at 14 times, and it's put together a streak of 3 beats in a row, including 2 massive beats in a row here. You can see these big green arrows. That's the size and magnitude of that beat. So some of these have been really large. So the analysts aren't quite sure what's going on with the luxury side, and they're being a little more conservative, but this is one to watch, again, on the luxury global consumer side. Then we're going to switch it over to sporting goods with Dick's. This one has been red hot and is a pandemic winner because we're all out there buying our home goods. I've still been trying to buy some hand weights and they still don't have them in stock. So everyone is in the same boat, but can these shares continue to rally here in 2021? They are up 48% already year to date, just touched on those new 5-year highs. They have put together 3 beats in a row, but the last one was basically like a meet here, barely beating by only, a few pennies here, but a beat is a beat, and that's all it takes. But the question is, now that everything is reopening, how much are we going to be doing on the outdoors? Dick's is going to be the one to tell us, so you're going to want to tune in. Then a similar story with our next retailer, Williams & Sonoma, ticker WSM. I own this one in my own personal portfolio, but Williams & Sonoma is more than just Williams & Sonoma. I think a lot of people get confused with this one. They think it's just home baking goods from the Williams & Sonoma brand. But Williams & Sonoma also owns West Elm and Pottery Barn, including Pottery Barn Kids and Teen. So they have some of the hottest furniture brands out there in addition to all of us cooking at home during the pandemic. But this too is going to go through the same types of questions because it was a pandemic winner as well. How much more outdoor furniture do we need? How much more furniture in general are people buying? Are we not going to buy any of that cooking equipment anymore since we can now go back to the restaurants? How much will this slow down? Because Williams & Sonoma has been posting some of the best quarters in its history for the last couple of quarters. You can see these huge green arrows too, just like with some of the other retailers, and the analysts can't get it right with them either. So this is going to be definitely one to watch on the kind of home goods side and the furniture side. But as you can see, perfect track record over the last 5 years, at least meeting and or beating. And I'm expecting that part to continue on here, but this is definitely one to tune in on. Then we're going to switch it over to the kind of big box, all you can do type of stores with Burlington Stores, ticker BURL. I bring this one nearly every quarter because its chart is fantastic. Just those 2 misses, and including that big one to start the pandemic, but we can forgive them then because everybody was having the same issues at the start of the pandemic. But now they too have put together 2 huge beats in a row and a nice little beat here for the last quarter. Shares are at these 5-year highs. You have to be asking about valuation here with Burlington. It's trading at 44 times. So how much are you willing to pay for Burlington Stores here? Might be one thing to pay 20 times, but are you really going to be paying 44? So far, the answer is yes. But this is definitely one to tune in on these kind of big box retailers. Then we're going to finish it up with one I haven't talked about in a while because it's been kind of down on its luck, The Gap. They beat 2 out of the last 4, and the last quarter was a big beat. So it propelled those shares up quite a bit here, up 61% year to date. But shares, which used to be cheap back there in 2020 when it was having all of its own problems, not just the pandemic, but problems with design and among several of its brands. Then they were going to spin off some of the brands, then they decided not to. So they still are the Gap, Old Navy, Banana Republic, and Athleta. So they still have a powerful brand in Athleta. That's the Lululemon competitor. Still struggling a bit with Banana, and they've been closing some stores on both Banana and the Gap. But Old Navy should be shining here as that's the lower price point, and they've been doing good on the trends at Old Navy. But we're going to see, how good is this? Trading at about 24 times, so no longer the dirt cheap stock it was last year in 2020. Still has a dividend yielding 3%, however. And so that's a little juicy there for those who are trying to get dividends through their retail plays. But these shares weakening a little bit here going into the number, but we're all going to be watching to see if this breakout is for real in the gap. So these are some great charts on the retail side, but the question does remain, how hot can it remain here in 2021? It has been hot. Again, the consumer is feeling good and has a lot of cash on hand because they couldn't spend much last year and they couldn't go anywhere. So they've got a little bit of cash if they kept their jobs and are hanging in there. So we will see on the reopen what happens with retail. Normally coming out of a recession, retail is the place to be, but some of these have been really hot as pandemic winners, and we'll see if they can keep this hotness now that the stores are reopening and life is just reopening, at least in the United States. So all of these retailers are going to be hot ones to watch, and I'll continue covering the retail group because they're not done yet. They've got a couple weeks left to go, and we've got a couple of the fiscal retail reporters still to go, including Nike and some of the other hot names. So you want to be sure to subscribe, get all of our videos on Zacks.com. You can get us on Zacks.com/YouTube for our YouTube channel. You can also get all these articles on Twitter, as I'll be tweeting them out, or on Zacks' Twitter feed. But be sure to get them somewhere, and I'll see you again next time with some more earnings charts.